All right. Hey, everyone. It's Danielle and
Damien, hello.
Damien, and we are here once again for the Damien and Danielle download. Woo! We're super excited. This is our second episode, and we promise to try our best to keep it a little bit shorter than last time. We've actually got and I'm going to press it right now, our stopwatch is out, and we're going to aim for somewhere between 20 and 30 minutes. Right, Damien?
Yeah, that's it. I've got mine going. I started mine a little earlier than yours, so we are off and away. We're going to try and keep it nice and snappy. We have a lot to cover, don't we? But we've got to keep it. We learnt from last time, although we didn't get any complaints, I have to say. But still, it was way too long. So we're going to be shorter.
It was, but we were covering a lot of different months. So, it was our first episode. We covered what, February and March, and now we're going to cover April, and we're going to talk about we're going to cover everything from our last video to now. So we're a little bit at the beginning of May. So we're going to cover a lot of good stuff because our team, like always, has been hard at work. And this is our time to give them their shout outs and really focus on all the good stuff happening. So for sake of time, Damien, are you ready just to jump right in?
Yeah. Let's dive right in. And we have a mix of things, some small and some bigger things to talk about today. So number one, and this is not in order, by the way, of most important or whatever, but okay. So we added, this is what we call a quality of life improvement. So we added the client number to the column selection in the client's advanced search result. So if you're going into clients, you're doing an advanced search, so you're using lots of filters to get the client list. We didn't have the option to have the client number there, and we were getting feedback from people about that. Sometimes there'd be clients with the same name, or there might be duplicates and so forth that they were trying to sort out. And without the client number there, it actually made it a bit tricky to kind of distinguish between the two. So very sensible suggestions coming in from users. So we put that in that month. Okay, number two.
Wait, you know what that tells me? It tells me that we are listening, and we are listening to what people are asking for and really trying to implement them, which is what you guys did here. And I think that, as I'm always going to say, is great.
We do. We have weekly meeting. The product team sits down and we go through all the suggestions and all the feedback, requests, everything. Every week we go through and look at that. There's always going to be far more suggestions than we can implement, because some might work in some context that may not, be something that would be used across the board and so forth. But we get these things into the roadmap and we get them out there so that the product's always improving. Okay, let's move on. Number two. So just again, another quality of life thing, but we improved the positioning of on invoices and statements, the way in which the positioning of some of the text. So there's an extra invoice text or extra statement text that people can add to their clients because they may need particular things on invoices for billing purposes. And we found that the positioning of that was a little bit awkward. And also there was some context where if you had a third-party biller, for instance, or third-party payer, that content going on there would sometimes just make it look a little bit kind of weird. So we realized, and while we were working on that area, we just cleaned up some of those things so that the format is just that little bit improved for the way that those things present. So that's been done and that's out.
Yeah.
A third thing we with the payment methods, we just added some extra sort of constraints for the system to pick up on issues that can happen with payments being accidentally added twice by people. There was just a few ways in which that could happen. A little bit unusual circumstances, or that you'd need to do that, but we realized that it could actually happen. So we put some extra logic in the system to sort of prevent that and alert if there was going to be anything where that might happen. So for most people, that will mean nothing because they probably have never experienced that. But for those that have experienced that or their workflow would mean that could happen, this will now remove that so they don't have to think about that at all.
I like it when we don't have to think about something anymore. That's always a win for me.
Yeah. Now, absolutely, I think that's always the goal, of course, to try and make it so that, things are as effortless as possible.
Effortless. I like effortless. Very cool.
Okay, now, next thing for us to talk about is really something relating to the US, for feedback from our US customers. And this is around SuperBills. And do you want to talk a little bit about that, Danielle? Because I think you've been working with some of our customers there, and
yes,
yeah.
I am super excited about the SuperBill.
Yep.
So a SuperBill is used in the United States a lot for a collection of the orders of what services that you've received over a specific time period. Usually it's once a month, but it could be within a certain period of time. It includes the diagnosis, which you can add in there. It includes that it's a payer, who it's going to, so that when the insurance receives it, they've got all the information that they need so they can reimburse the customer for the service that has been provided. So why is this so huge? There are certain practitioners, I was looking for the right word, practitioners that don't want to deal with insurance themselves, but the customer has insurance. So this allows the customer to pay for the service and then get, again, reimbursed by the insurance company. So it was a huge deal for our US customers to not have this, because if you're getting all sorts of papers and you got to fax it into the insurance companies don't want to deal with that. They want one bill for the period of time with all of the treatments on it, with the diagnosis, with the cost you paid on one document. And we have gone ahead and done that. I am so excited about this. I think it's going to be huge for our US customers, but really, I think this can be huge for anybody because it does allow you to select the time frame and present one bill with all the billings on it. So
that's what. And it works off, so for people outside of the States, it works off the system for the way that we produce statements, so that it does allow that time frame and allow you to select what's included on that so that you can, condense things down into that kind of statement. But the addition now to better support US customers is allowing that additional stuff that US insurance requires to make that process easier. And of course, we've had people using, there's been lots and lots of people using in the US for a very long time, but they had to use workarounds to get this. And so it was kind of a little bit clunky. And, again, the feedback, hey guys, can you make this part of it easier? Because this is what, it's causing us some extra work. So,
you just want it to be easy. Like you want to go somewhere and just get it done. And yes, there was these workarounds, which worked and they worked well, but this just makes it easy. And it's right there in your menu now. So you can easily see it, which I like, because again, it's easy. And who doesn't like easy? So no, I think it was, again, a huge push from, the development team to get it done. They actually did it, it didn't take that long once they got, I didn't even know it was happening. So it was like a little Christmas present when I saw that pop up. We utilize Slack here at Power Diary, which I love. And we have a feature releases little channel, and it came up, I think it was recently, and I was like, I remember I danced around my house. I was like, honey, they got it. We got this SuperBill. I'm so excited. So it was a huge win. And again, I'm really thanking everybody on the team that was a part of that, because it is very big for us in the States, but I really think it's got international use as well. I mean, I don't think we should ever limit anything just to one area. It's good for everyone. It's got its purpose. It's fantastic. And I think that it's a really good.
So hopefully across the States, we've got people are doing that little happy dance that's out there and has arrived.
Well, me and Katie and Heather, us investors, we're all over here doing the happy dance, putting the, the thumbs up and the high five in the channel. So yeah, really awesome. Wow. I could not speak more about it. I mean, I think it's going to be just great for our practitioners, easy for them to give it to their customers, to submit it for the insurance claiming. And we'll add a little video over this, I'm sure, which will be a little tutorial on how it works. And again, like I said, it's a really A+ feature for us. So thank you for listening.
And so if you have a US account too, this will pop up as an option for you. So you don't need to do anything. It will be available in your account right now. Okay, now moving on in terms of other features. So we're obviously in these segments, we're talking about the things that have been released and out. But that of course doesn't represent everything that our team are working on, because the things that are working on and not released, we don't necessarily go into all the detail of that. But just to give a little behind the scenes, we've been, the team has been really,
again.
So we've been doing some really amazing stuff with, the infrastructure work that we're doing and the way that our systems work behind the scenes. We've hit some really cool milestones in terms of development in that space, which is not quite released in our live environment yet, but really there's some teams working on that and progressing kind of really well with some big projects that we've got on the go in the background. And these things are often things that are extremely important, that are sort of done, and we're always sort of trying to be well ahead of where the demand is and where things are going. But it's not something that day to day, it's like people will turn on and say, oh, there's the new thing. But anyway, we'll talk more about that as time goes on, but they've doing some really some great work on that. And then the other area that we've got our teams working on is a whole new feature that we've actually completed. We are just finalizing before launch, so we're not going to go into details of that.
I have it on my account, ladies and gentlemen, and I will tell you, I'm super excited about this too. I mean, okay, I must sound like I'm always excited. My husband says I'm way too happy all the time, but this feature that you guys have been working on, that we will have a webinar on, you'll see it. We'll give you a full walkthrough, but it is really A+. The thought that's gone into this, I know you guys have been working on it for a substantial amount of time, because it's that important for us to provide this feature to our customers and really give them something that nobody else has.
Yeah, that's right. It's something that we're not, and goes to this changing the game. We've got our new t-shirts on, but it's just something, again, a feature that's going to really help. We won't tease it too much, but it's coming. And just to let everyone know, the team behind the scenes have been working really hard on that, and it's going to be good. And we are this close now to releasing, so we're all excited here, and so stay tuned. Okay, other news that we have. So we've done our security and privacy webinar that we did. Amazing turnout to that. So thank you to everyone who came along and listened to Paul and I talk about this.
Was that your first webinar that you two have done together?
Yeah. It is, it's a funny thing, right? All this time, because we're talking all the time, but we haven't actually done a combined webinar where we're talking about something together like that. So it was good fun. I loved it.
I love it. I love it. I think that's so cool how you two work together so well. I don't know how it would be with my siblings, but you two work so well together, and it's such an important topic right now, security and privacy. It's just, I mean, between 2FA and, reCAPTCHA, all these things that everybody is just really honed in on right now. And I mean, it's such an important topic. I mean, what would you say was the highlight of that?
Well, I think there was probably, and looking at the feedback, there were probably a couple of key things that I think is important to sort of point out. And we kind of covered across two areas. So one is about, your configuration of Power Diary, just making sure you've got the basics, in there that, users, we don't charge for users, right? So every person should have their own login, because that's one of the major security risks, is that everyone's sharing a login. There's no need for it. And it means from a security point of view, you can't lock down the what people are seeing. You should really have it set so that people only see the content they need to. So there was that. We talked a fair bit about all the stuff we do behind the scenes to keep, Power Diary secure. There's a whole bunch of that. I won't go into it now because there's a whole webinar worth. You can tune in and watch that.
But we can guarantee that we've never had a security breach here at Power Diary, correct?
That's right. In the many 10 plus whatever years it is now that we've been operating, that's right. But we always remain vigilant. That's one of those things that it's a daily, all the time thing that we're on. But the other thing around that we want to sort of point out in the webinar, was around what you can do in your practice as well. So outside of Power Diary, but just things like making sure that you've got, current sort of antivirus stuff set up, that you've got screen locks on your computers. So if you walk away, that it's going to screen lock, and you need a password to undo that, so that if someone does steal your computer or something, then they can't easily get in. And making sure your browser's up to date. And this was the feedback we got. People didn't, I think, realize the importance of keeping, browsers up to date. Most of the updates that browsers release are related to security. Like, so often that's what it is, because when a vulnerability is detected in a browser, and they all have it, it's not one or the other, but when they do, what they do is immediately produce a fix to that and release it. Now, if you don't update your browser, that means that you've got this patch, or it is missing. That means you've got that vulnerability there, right? And wherever you go, whatever websites, wherever you go, those sites can see what browser you're using. That's part of how it works. So people can see, if we think of like bad actors, people with bad intent can see, if you visit one of their websites, they can see what browser type that you're using, and therefore can see if it's not a more current kind of version. So it's important. Just keep it, when you see that thing update, just update it, right? And that's
okay.
it.
I'm updating.
Update it. Yeah, just has to be a no-brainer, to do that. So that was really cool, really well attended. We'll likely do other things in the future around this, talking about particular topics, because it is so important. And the feedback we got were like, I didn't know that, I didn't know this, and so that was good for us to kind of hear too, because then we know, okay, this is an area that people sometimes would benefit from, just some additional kind of insight or help with, or understanding why annoying things like, two-factor authentication, right? It's annoying as, right? We know that, right?
It's actually not that bad. I mean, you just open it up, you look at it, type it real quick.
Look, as a user myself, I gotta say, I hate using it, right? But I use it for everything, right? So because it's so important, right? It is. That extra thing of logging in, okay, it is annoying, but it's nowhere near as annoying or as disruptive or as significant than if you have a security breach, right?
Yeah.
Because someone, logged, they had a password or a keyboard tracker on your computer that you didn't know about, and they were, able to see the usernames and passwords you're entering into everything, right? If a two-factor stops that from being useful. They can try it and they can't get in. But if you don't have two-factor authentication added to everything, then if someone had a tracker on your device and could see what you are entering, then they can get in. Anyway, we won't labor that point because we do have the whole webinar.
Yes, go watch the webinar. I think the summary is, ladies and gentlemen, if you have not had the opportunity to head on over and watch Damien and Paul and their security and privacy webinar, I implore you to do it right away. So I will go ahead and in this video, in the comments on the YouTube channel, and when we post it in Facebook and things like that, we will go ahead and put the link to it, because we think it is that important for your business and for your, just in general, just for personal reasons. I mean, the last thing you want to do is get your identity hacked or your life hacked. I mean, we do everything on these computers. Let's take care of it. You lock your doors at night. Take care of your computer. It's the same thing.
Exactly. All right. Now, mindful of the time, let's move on.
What are we doing? We're doing all right.
We're doing okay. We're coming in on our 20-minute mark. Okay. So just broad stroke team updates. Not exhaustive, but since we last spoke, what changes we have? Okay, we have the US customer support team is growing. We've got, and also in our Australian team is also growing. So in the last, since we last spoke, we've got action occurring on both of those areas.
Awesome.
Of course, we're always growing and expanding the team.
Yes, we are.
So that's good. We've also got our engineering team. We've had new starts there as well, so that team is growing. We're always looking to expand our engineering team because we have more and more things that we want to do, and so that's great.
With the more things, we need more people.
Exactly.
And we're getting the best people, I will say. They are all phenomenal.
Oh, they are amazing. They're amazing. And I think, when we recruit, we're in any area, we're not just looking for like technically the best, but also the right type of people, have the right attitude, get what we're doing, passionate about it, and want to work in a place where, we want to make a difference. That's what we're trying to do every day is, make it easier to run health practices, and that makes it better for health practice owners, but also for patients everywhere. So we kind of, we look for people that get that, and are fired up about that. And so that makes it exciting to work with, because
it does.
Really
it does.
good,
and it's just nice to have good people you're working with as well.
Yeah, definitely. Makes life. I'm sure we've all had experiences in the past where you're perhaps working with not your chosen selection of people, and it's not always so fun. But I think
it's all good. I think that it's excellent. I think it's excellent. I want to say something. It's not on the people front, but we were talking about the webinar, and I forgot to remind everybody. If you have not had the opportunity, we are doing a marketing webinar at the end of this month with me, Damien, and Fiona, and everybody should sign up, because we want to definitely help you guys market your practice. We've got a lot of great tips that we're going to give you, and some stuff you can easily implement. And we want to, again, as Powered Eye, we're always trying to make your business better, make your lives easier. So you need to head on over. Again, we'll put that link in here and register for that webinar as well.
Yeah. And I'm looking forward to this one too, because as a practitioner myself, marketing is something that often practitioners and practitioner owners, they're not always entirely comfortable with, because it sort of feels like, where's the line there between being like salesy or being, so this is sort of, marketing that you can do that's consistent with being a health practitioner, and that you can do in a way that is comfortable and comes from a place of like integrity and genuineness about what you're doing, and just communicating that. So it's not about like being salesy, it's about, hey, communicating what makes your practice, a place that provides great, treatment, or focusing on, points of difference and so forth. So I'm excited about that.
And no one worry, because Fiona will make us put time slots into our webinar so that we don't go over time. So we got our checks and balances there too. So we'll do good on that as well.
Absolutely. A final thing on the people or team development too is we also have expanded our security and compliance team. So we've got another person started in that space. As we're talking about, we have a big focus on that, but we also really enjoy it, because we think it's an area that can actually be a strength, not just something that's kind of a tick the box kind of thing, but something that we really enjoy working on, and sort of implementing all, everything that is sort of we can possibly do. So really cool to have someone great experience, working in compliance, privacy, security, and so forth. So we'll have some more things to say about stuff we're doing in that space down the track. It's really, really cool. So that's also been since we last spoke.
And that will always keep us on the front lines, so that we're always on top of it. Can't have enough of that, like as we were just talking about. So that's great.
Yeah. And a lot of it is too around how we, so in different jurisdictions that we work, in different areas, we're always looking for what's the most stringent standard, that we might have. And then if we apply that, then globally, it means that people are getting the benefit of that, because there are some areas that are have really strong laws, and so if we comply with that, then even if someone's operating in an area that has perhaps the government's not as advanced in their thinking about that, they get the benefit of that, and that applies everywhere. Like every compliance regime and privacy regime has strengths and weaknesses, and so if we're focusing on the strengths, so the strictest interpretation of things, then that's it's great. It takes of course a lot of energy and resources and so forth to do it, but we think for the space we're in, it's worthwhile. And
that's why we got someone else in there, so that's good.
Exactly. Right. There's always more work to do in every area that we always wanting to get done. So more good people is great.
Awesome.
I think we have pretty much covered, have we? We're
at 25 minutes, which leaves us just enough time for you to give us Damien's thought of the month.
Right, thought of the month. Right. So this actually, what the thing that I've kind of been thinking about and has been rattling around in my head is around the importance of taking a holiday and taking a break, right? And there's sometimes an instinct, I think, when you're really passionate about what you're doing or you're really busy. Like we know health practices around the world are very, very busy at the moment. Often catching up with backlog and all the rest of it. But there can be a sort of false, I think, a false sort of subjective experience that if I'm just not taking holidays and just working through because that I'm being more efficient or I'm getting more done and so forth. And I think, we can all fall into that trap. And I sort of realized recently, I took a break right from we had some family camping trip and then had
took a vacation, took a break. You deserve
took a break. We had, which was really
justified. Stop justifying, David.
No, I'm not justifying. I'm just more saying actually got a break. We got away from the day-to-day activities, even of being at home. Went and did something different. Also, we had our brother who lives in Boston. Him and his family came out to Australia and hung out for a while, which was great. So we're doing lots of activities with the kids. And I realized coming back after having that kind of vacation, that break, it gives you that space, and you get a bit of distance, a bit of clarity. I think priorities become clearer when you're away from the sort of the day-to-day. And, I realized that, I was just sort of thinking about that it's something that, I think even over COVID, a lot of people have been, especially in health, have been working flat out. And, really it's good to sometimes just schedule it in, even if it means you're so busy now and you can't do it right now, but book it in for 3 months away if that's what you need to, or, but know that it's there, and then get that break, shut down from what you're doing and do something kind of different. So anyway, it's worthwhile. I think we know this, as a psychologist, I think, I know this already. Of course, intellectually, I know it, but actually doing it, you're like, yeah, of course, that's actually a real thing, right? So
no, it's so true. It's so true. I went on vacation and I took a week, and I might have been planning my next vacation while I was on vacation because I love vacation so much, but it was nice. You just to turn it off, to focus on your family, focus on your own well-being, focus on yourself. And then you come back and you're like, let's go. I'm ready. Let's get in it. And you're re-energized. And you know what? There's always that next vacation to look forward to. And you should plan that next break. And that's that next time out. Come on. We all learn from mom and dad. Sometimes you need a timeout when you're little. Gotta go sit in the corner. And what does that do? Decompress, feel better. I think that is a fantastic thought of the month. And I hope you enjoyed your vacation. And
I did. It was wonderful.
And you came back just for the security and compliance seminar.
It was actually, it was sort of fun. That was fun. That was at the very end anyway, so that was all good.
Wonderful. Well, I think we did it. Did we miss anything? I don't think so.
I don't think so. We might realize after we did, but I think we've ticked it all off. And
awesome. And guys, I think we are safe to say we are on my stopwatch 28 minutes and 47 seconds. So we did really good. Thank you. And we really hope you guys enjoyed the Damien and Danielle download. And we will see you guys again in a month. Damien, thank you.
Great. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Danielle.